Welcome to the Sales Development Podcast, your trusted resource for the latest strategies, tactics, and tips on running a high-performance sales development program. Sales development has grown to become a critical part of the success of high-growth companies, and we dive in each week on how to specifically make your program successful and accelerate your career advancement. Subscribe at iTunes, YouTube, and jump on the newsletter over at Tenbound.com to make sure you never miss an episode.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to another edition of the Sales Development Podcast. I am honored and blessed to have this individual on the show today. This is someone who we've been partnering with for a number of years, and I've watched them grow this amazing solution to help sales development professionals. And so I'm just really excited to dive in. Ran Oelgiesser, the founder and CEO of RightBound. How are you doing today, sir?
I'm doing great, David. Thank you very much for all the compliments and intro.
Yeah, it's been awesome watching how this has developed over the years. We met many years ago at a conference and sat down and you talked about your vision, before there was even a company, and just to be able to watch it and see the success has been great. So Ran is a serial entrepreneur, a longtime sales and marketing executive before founding RightBound, and you're doing an autonomous prospecting solution on a mission to transform sales into a self-driving car, which I thought is really interesting. So, Ran, how did you get involved in starting RightBound, and what is your vision for the company?
So I have lots of years of experience in sales and marketing. Originally I'm an engineer, but I shifted to product and marketing, and been doing this for I think 12 years now. And you've experiencing the pain. Things have evolved a lot. Again, when I started marketing and having sales team, B2B sales team, we didn't have all the tools that are available today, and the situation is great today. But what really led us to this vision, Rotem Daphne, who's my co-founder, and myself, is the fact that we looked at sales and specifically at sales development, and we thought that there is a room for a real paradigm shift. And this is why the comparison, the marketing comparison to a self-driving car comes into the play. Because the way we look at it is really AI, is used everywhere, and solutions have proved to be, effective in analyzing funnel and activity and learning from your past success and making predictions and recommendations. We see software that predicts your quarterly performance and helping you plan better. We see AI identifying accounts that are more relevant for you. We see, of course, all the solution analyzing sales calls and communication, assisting you with coaching and training. But at the end of the day, sales teams get a dashboard, just like in a car. Today's car have amazing, powerful tools making you drive better and safer, but eventually there's an overload of information on the driver. And it's the same thing in sales. You have so many insights and so many recommendations, but eventually the sales rep needs to make a decision. And the sales leader are trying to optimize all that mess. So yes, those AI tools and recommendation insights are helping, but they're also giving you a headache. So our thesis is basically that next-gen sales tech is one, and not just in sales development, in more broadly, by the way, is that one that actually makes autonomous decisions, just like a self-driving car.
Got it. Okay, so right now, it's almost like an overload of information. And so what you're saying is the next generation will be analyzing, prioritizing, recommending, creating almost this dashboard for sales reps, but then they have to take it. So why, if we've been using this for a while, why should we trust AI, in this way to do a lot more?
So what I say is that we should trust AI more than just dashboard to actually make decisions for us. Obviously, some listeners are saying like, no way, B2B sales can't be done by machines. And actually, I couldn't agree more. B2B sales cannot be done end-to-end by machines. But the point is that I think, and this is where we could dive into, specific example, there are more parts of the job that a machine not only can do what humans do, but can actually do things better and save a lot of time for the sales rep. The idea, again, is not to replace sales reps with bots and say, AI could do everything. But the idea is to shift the focus of sales toward aspects that are unique to human, that are unique to the role, the qualifying and the pitching and connecting it at some personal or even emotional level to the buyer, persuading and negotiating. Machines can't do that. But, let's let the machine do what they could do better.
Okay, so let's dive in. So if you look at the day in the life, of a SDR, for example, a lot of the time they're spending is just digging through, doing research, which you would think, and there's a promise out there that machines could help with that, but it seems like they spend a lot of time researching, for example.
Yeah, that's, I think, the first part. And this is actually the part when we talk to, SDR leaders, everyone agree that, that their team is spending disproportionate time in researching accounts, researching for finding relevant contacts within the accounts. And the lucky ones, the lucky SDRs have, budget for great data sources at hand, and they have supportive sales ops and growth teams that are helping them in this process and enrichment process and all that. But, I'm sure some are hearing this and saying, well, I don't have any of that. And, you're in good company, because I would say 70-80% of the companies don't have great support and great processes in place and are spending a lot of time manually prospecting and manually searching in LinkedIn and Zoom Info and all the other great sources that are out there. And in our mind is, again, what we say is very simple. It's complicated, but it's a simple statement. A machine could do that. Scanning available data sources, finding companies that meet your criteria based on size and growth and technologies, and hiring and traffic and whatever your criteria is. In 2021, there's no reason for a sales rep to actually do this manually. Not to mention that, finding contacts and enriching them from all the data sources that are out there, it's something that could be completely automated for you.
Got it. Okay. And not getting too much into the tech, but how would that work? And, because it seems like right now an SDR sits down and they go, okay, they have to kind of put it together themselves based on the context of who they're reaching out to. How could a machine potentially help them to, do some of that research?
So I think it's a mind shift in a way, right? You need to say, I'm not the one who's doing the search, and I'm teaching a machine what am I looking for. I want companies of this size with this growth level. I want, this is the decision maker. These are the influencer. And for most part, you could teach a machine what to look for. So instead of you going and sifting through the tens of data sources that are out there, if you have access to them, a machine could do that for you. It's, it's as simple as that. You just need to basically write the story of who you're looking for, and the machine will take it from there.
Got it. Okay. And then, so the other thing that comes up a lot is prioritization. So you could have a great data source and, it's queued up right there for you. But then where do I spend my time? Where's the best use of my time, as an SDR? So could it help potentially with prioritization?
So yes, and I think there are many solutions who are trying to prioritize today based on what I call third-party information, right? Intent data and past historical information about the account and the specific industry that it's at, or the specific persona and other characteristics. There's a lot of usage of AI for that. What we actually say is that you need to take prioritization to the next level, and that is through actually helping the SDRs with their playbook. So you'd probably agree that, with all the prioritization, eventually the bottom line is when the prospect is actually engaging with you, is actually replying to you, is actually reading enough of what you send to them as part of your outreach, whether it's on email or LinkedIn or other, this is the best, prospect to follow up with. So, what we're saying is use AI to really optimize your playbook. Today, when SDR leaders are sitting down and they're at best, they build a playbook per industry or per persona. And, eventually what we say is And they use some, BI and the AI sometimes to make recommendation on what content is better and how to build a better playbook. But what we're saying is actually let, a machine take decisions about your playback at the individual level. So for a specific target prospect, make decisions on when are they going to get an email, what kind of email are they going to get. Maybe we should stop reaching out to this one prospect and shift to another prospect. So all those optimization of the playbook should happen per a single individual rather than at the level of a persona or an industry.
That's amazing. It sounds like a lot of the work that's being done in the B2C industry, with Facebook and how Facebook, can optimize advertising based on behavior. And, actually, they even can take it to another level of writing the copy and helping with the ad copy to make you click more and do different behaviors on the platform. So is that the next step in B2B also in
sales? Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so.
Writing for you. I mean, yeah. Where do you see that going?
The writing for you, I think, will come. I think it's the toughest part of this chain. And we are not working on that. And there are many other players who are trying to do that and doing some great work there. But I think it's still far. I mean, the day of a machine completely writing on your behalf is still far from us. What I will say is, yeah, I mean, your comparison is a great one. I mean, what happened in ad tech is this understanding that there's no way that the human could optimize per each individual target, right? I mean, that the campaign manager, the marketing manager would make a decision on the timing and the copy and the type of ad and the call to action per each individual target. And that's exactly what happened in ad tech. The algorithms are analyzing this and deciding when to run a creative and when to pause it, and when do I show a certain ad to David. And LinkedIn might know that David would never fill, I don't know, a lead ad form. I don't know if you don't, but and making the decision and choosing the best prospects that and adjusting how you reach out to each individual prospect is something that is happening in ad tech. And yes, I think the exact same thing would happen in sales development.
And it's interesting that you brought up LinkedIn. I mean, LinkedIn seems like a very powerful platform for the B2B world. And it's where a lot of our, on the professional side of things, we spend a lot of time. Do you feel like it's, what is the next step with LinkedIn? Are they going to get better on positioning and using some of the tools that you're talking about? Is there another LinkedIn that's going to happen at some point or something like that?
Well, you should be interviewing someone from LinkedIn, but
yeah.
It's not up to. I think LinkedIn has this amazing, unique advantage of really being this business network that everyone is using.
Yeah.
And I don't think its potential is leveraged to its full extent. Right. As you said, I think there could be done much more than what we have today in connecting with million different people with, that we might not necessarily know, and definitely not knowing, the timing and the relevance and what they're interested in, etc. So, yeah, I mean, we're looking at this. We're looking exactly at what vendors are reaching out to buyers, and I think there's a win-win there. Like when we analyze the data, we eventually know that these buyers are less interested in specific things, and we're kind of becoming those matchmakers that with fewer emails and fewer LinkedIn connects, the sellers are getting to more relevant buyers, and I think that's eventually the win-win for everyone. But it will be some time and some work from the LinkedIn side as well until this is fully there.
Yeah, it's almost just scratching the surface. And, it's interesting because a lot of SDRs are kind of left on their own to do a lot of this, what we're talking about right now. And you can imagine the power of having a RightBound plugged in versus not. I mean, it's almost like, like you're just a civilian going out and playing against the NFL, or something like that. I mean, you're just going to get creamed, right? Because the power of AI, if it's harnessed correctly, has a huge advantage over just somebody trying to figure it out themselves.
So you're basically saying that everyone should get RightBound.
Of course. Well, I'm a big fan. And it's true. On the flip side, though, when you talk to clients, I mean, if you think about this, if I came to you and said, plug this in and I'll push a button and you'll just get me meetings and, I can go sit on the beach, right? I mean, and not that you have those expectations, but where do you see clients coming in and going, this is nirvana, just plug it in and we'll just retire? I hate to bring the bad news, but no, that's not going to happen. We're not going to adopt RightBound or anything else, and you're going to retire. Look, it's eventually, we look at it. We're trying to make you and the SDR leaders, heroes, and make their life better, focusing them on getting on the phone, on email correspondence with more relevant prospects, and doing their job better, and getting more qualified meetings for the AEs, right? This is their charter. This is what they're supposed to do, and we're going to help them big time. And they're going to enjoy their work more, and they're going to spend less time on tedious manual tasks. But no, I mean, it's not outsourcing your SDR. You still have to do the job. You still have to work, and it's in your book, in your court. It's in your court. But when they come to you, what's the best? Like, say they want to integrate more AI, and help take this burden off and be more efficient. What's the best way to prepare so that it's a successful implementation versus if you've seen people come with the wrong expectations?
Yeah, I think eventually it's, as you say, it's all about expectation. It's all about coming with the understanding that building outbound, that's regardless of RightBound, right? You know it better than David, because you've been consulting a lot of organizations how to build outbound right. And it's a journey, and you don't just come in and build outbound from scratch in 5 days. It takes time. It takes time to perfect your audience and your targeting, and to perfect your playbook with AI or without it. And this is the attitude that you need to come in, that you're not going to see results overnight, and you're not going to see improvement and, doubling your results overnight. And you need, solid team that is ready to do the hard work, that is ready to call, that is ready to follow up, that is ready to constantly improve how they pitch and their messaging, and adjust and be agile about their targeting. And these are the teams that we see that are successful. And again, with or without RightBound, these are the teams that eventually win, and we just make it easier and faster for them.
Yeah. And we like to say, sales development comes down to the big three, which is the people, the process, and the technology. And if you've got any of those three wrong, you're not going to be as successful. And it seems like if you add a amazing technology to a not so great process, or a team that maybe shouldn't be in sales, to begin with, you're not going to be as successful.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, this is a great place to start. So I want to take some of the burden off of myself. So we talked before, we've got a perfect use case for you, and we're going to talk about that after the show. But Ran, thank you so much for coming on and, sharing your insights with the audience. How can we get in touch with you if this is something they want to check out?
RightBound.com and LinkedIn. We're active in LinkedIn. We have groups on LinkedIn. Reach out to me personally, Ran Oelgiesser in LinkedIn. Happy to connect.
Yes, definitely. And, the group that you're starting and the content that you're putting out to support sales development is very valuable. So I would definitely recommend folks get over there and follow RightBound, for the thought leadership that you're putting out as well. So
appreciate
Ran,
it.
Thank you so much for coming on the Sales Development Podcast.
Thank you. Pleasure as always.
Thank you for listening to the Sales Development Podcast, the only audio forum 100% focused and dedicated to sales development, with your host, David Dulany. Please be sure to subscribe to the show on YouTube and take a moment to leave us a review on iTunes. Your support makes our show possible. If you are struggling with your sales development program, contact us at tenbound.com for a no-obligation exploratory call. Again, that's tenbound.com.